is 106 West 145th Street. Call somebody. Tell them the action is on the air. I'd like you to get on your feet right now for the president and founder of the National Action Network and still the people's preacher, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. No justice.
No peace.
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 What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
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 Hug the person next to you. Tell them you love them. National Action Network Change Choir. Give them a big hand. Our Change Choir. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning. For you that are here live in the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and you that are watching and listening live stream on www.nationalactionnetwork.net around the country, we are happy to be with you another Saturday morning where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Hardy. Our musical director, Brevon Neal. And certainly we're glad to have our executive director with us this morning, Janae English. Let me say that we are dedicating this week's broadcast and rally to the memory of our great and our legendary activist, Julian Bond, as well as to the great congressman, first black elected to Congress out of the state of Ohio, Congressman Lou Stokes. And we also mourn death of longtime community activist in Chicago, who was like a mother to me. She was mother of my best friend, Dwight McKee. Lois McKee died night before last. And she's been ill for a while. We thought she'd come back. And Dwight and I talk sometime twice a day. And he called me right after I got off television and said to me that she'd been in the hospital a while. When I went out to Chicago a couple weeks ago, I went to see her, and said that she was looking like she wasn't gonna make it. And about an hour and a half later, he called me and said that I want to say goodbye to her, and put his phone to her ear. And at least I was able to say goodbye to her. I didn't get that with my mother. And then about 3 hours later, she passed. And many of you know Dwight. He's with our Chicago chapter, and we grew up in breadbasket together. So we're praying for that family. Let me say, and before I get into my messages today, we are very proud of, first I want to say we're proud of Minister Kirsten Foy. Yes. One of the things I talk about every week is that movements have continuity. There's a difference between a moment and a movement. A lot of folk grab a moment, and it becomes a fad for 2 or 3 weeks, or 2 or 3 months. Some fads last longer than others, but it's just a fad. Bell bottoms lasted longer than other styles, but it was just a fad. But it just lasted a little longer. You know, Penix still wear bell bottoms. I mean, some folk don't get over it. But movements go from generation to generation until they achieve its goals. And when I heard Minister Foy on his own, saying how he wants to deal with these drug houses that are selling this synthetic drug, not only is that right and admirable and courageous, but it continues what we did when I was painting the crack house. So it is in the lineage of this movement. And the reason I'm proud of it is I didn't tell him that. You can't tell nobody to go do something like that. Couldn't nobody tell me go paint a crack house and you can get shot at any time. And nobody could tell him to do that. That came from him, but it shows that he is kindred spirit with this movement and next generation. And this is a drug. Some suspect that it might be the drug that this guy that killed the great-granddaughter of Morgan Freeman might have been on. This is a deadly drug that is causing people to act totally insane. And we've got to deal with that. One of the reasons why, you know, somebody called me on radio the other day, so I'm a so-and-so group, y'all a civil rights organization. That's exactly what we are. You ain't hurt my feelings at all. Like I told you the other week, a guy said to me, "Red Mal, you ain't as young as you used to be." I said, "No, I'm 60. And that took a lot of work. I had to get up every morning for 60 years. Every morning. I couldn't miss one morning to get to 60. I couldn't skip a couple of years. I had to get up every morning. I worked hard to get to 60. And I'm gonna work hard to get to 70, and as long as I can get there. Y'all, what we must do is embrace whatever God has ordained you to be. Yes, we are a civil rights organization. And that is why we deal with Iran issue and voting rights and violence in our community, Sister Sekou, and police brutality, all at the same time. That's why our executive director runs an organization, but out of Washington, where we lobby bills for everything from health care to housing, because we are multifaceted civil rights organizations with things all over the country. You may be one-dimensional, and that's good. But that's not what we do. Folk get up 7 o'clock every Saturday morning to come up here and be in the audience because we deal with a variety of things. So people, don't let people have you get defensive about what you ought to be proud of. I told one of these radical white groups, Reverend Al, you going mainstream. Well, first of all, do you think my goal is to be marginal? I mean, now think about what you're saying. I want to be on the margins. Well, you got a complex. I belong mainstream to straighten out the mainstream. If you think you are of no value, you want to live on the margins all your life. You want to get in the mainstream and the establishment to change things. Gwen Carr here this morning every Sabbath is the mother Eric Garner. She don't need you on the margins. She need you inside that system to get justice for her son. You having some relapse about some radical stuff that you want to fashion. Radicalism in its ultimate is when you achieve radical change, not just look like radical change.
Right.
Hello. So you got the beret on your head, but no change in your resume.
Right.
So you got the style and not the substance. So I'm proud of him and proud of Minister McCoy, Kevin McCall, who runs our crisis, has been dealing with issues. The only thing I would recommend Kirsten when he go out there painting the houses is have Kevin with him and stand in front of him. I always have somebody bigger than me. Block it. Not that I'm suggesting nothing, I just know tip will do you. And me and Hardy and the old guard will be at the office. Y'all call us. But we've been there, done that. Get him a hand as they give. I also want to give a hand to Sister Dudley and the Deaf Club. They had a deaf dancer, Kandi Tamde, from Africa, from Burkina Faso, that is being featured in the Mars New York Times. And he danced here, and they had a photo of him here, and we're proud of our deaf club at the National Action. And lastly, and I'm going into my message, I got a lot to cover. Lastly, I want to thank Brother Lloyd Williams of the Uptown Chamber of Commerce. Last Saturday, they honored National Action Network and had many of our community leaders, Hazel Dukes and of the NAACP, and our Reverend Michael Walron and others present us this award, Reverend Dennis Dillon of Christian Time. And it really meant a lot to us. As I've said, when Lloyd was here the other week, his son's been here every week. He's a member here. Stand up, Member Williams. His son's a member of National Action. And as I said, they have kept the tradition of Harlem at its best alive.
That's right.
And showing the excellence that we celebrate in Harlem, as they are trying in many ways erase that. You know, when Kirsten talked about the things that are no longer there and that we're holding on to, there are those that are trying to erase what's left. You go from 6 big civil rights organizations to 3, and all you can do is attack those 3. You are knowingly or unknowingly helping the adversaries wipe you out. We are not in your way. Let me give you this real quick history. The Montgomery boycott was in 1955. They started the student sit-ins in 1960. Am I right? They started the Freedom Riders around 60, 61. The Freedom Riders and the student lunch counter sit-in groups didn't attack Dr. King and them because they had done the boycott 5 years before. They just did what they were doing. You just started and got to attack everybody ahead of you. You must be insecure about who you are. Anybody bothering you? People come to my rallies. Reverend Al, I need to speak, blah, blah, blah. How come your rally actually speak? Well, I want to speak for the youth. We got more youth here than you got. Well, I want to speak for the grassroots. What do you think we are? Who you think is here on Saturday morning? Who you think go to churches? These folks ain't dropping out the sky. That is the grassroots. We so rooted here, we got dirty folk like Penix. We got the dirt under the root. You don't get no more root than Penix. You know, Penix, my straight man. Johnny Carson had Ed McMahon. I had Penix. We just beat up on that. You can't get no more grassroots than 145th and Lenox every Saturday morning. Some Negro sit up in a college talking about grassroots. Meet me on 145th and Lenox. I got a grassroots analysis you ain't heard yet. Called Haru and Kazembe. I got some professors up in here. Meet Professor Haru and Professor Kazembe. You don't know about no grassroots, but anyhow, we cannot engage in a lack of it. One of the reasons you study history is history instructs you, not to imitate it, but it instructs you. And we've seen all of this before, which runs me right into the story. And I was so glad that Brother Greg Huddle talked about Julian Bond's background. And there's a great tribute there, the Millennium's webpage, theshiftdaily.com. And on the webpage is a tribute to Julian Bond. And everybody should read. I go to theshiftdaily.com every day, 2 or 3 times a day to see what the Millenniums are writing. Make you feel younger. I was in the corporate office the other day, and Hardy was, feeling a little old, having hot flashes and stuff. We got the air conditioner all the way up, and he's sweating, hot flashes. And I told him, read the Shift Daily, and he started being energetic and doing backflips and all that. But one of the things that the analysis is that as Julian Bond and others formed SNCC, they wanted to be, as he properly said, more aggressive than Dr. King. Dr. King was, 13, 14 years older than them. And they were not church-based. So fine, they formed SNCC, which was good. Dr. King gave them money to help start it. First $5,000 they got was from Dr. King at SCLC. And Dr. King never fought him. I told you all the story. Stokely said even when they would criticize Dr. King, he wouldn't respond. But Julian Bond later became chairman of the NAACP. Which means he went all the way from Dr. King wasn't militant enough to where he went on the other side of Dr. King. In life, you grow in stages. But if you are consistent in the fight, you don't get caught up on how you fight. You get caught up on that you continue to fight. Adam Clayton Powell went from leading the Harlem boycott to being the chairman of labor and education in Congress, but never stopped fighting. Some of y'all get caught in a time warp where you want to fight the same way rather than fight according to what the times dictate at the time you fight. Well, Red Man, I remember you when you wearing the tracksuits, because that's what we wanted. I come out that generation that we wore tracksuits. That's what Run DMC wore. I mean, all the same age. Russell wore. Then behind us come y'all up run around, see Dr. Dre and NWA and Straight Outta Compton. But they older men now. And this generation gonna be older. And they're gonna be watching movies on you. The question is, in your time, did you fight and keep the movement going and make progress? Rachel Nordlinger brought a report to me yesterday. Down in the corporate office, we were talking. And she said, well, you learned from Jesse and Y.T. Walker now. Yep, I did learn a lot of skills. But I had to deal with things in my time they didn't have to deal with. Well, what you mean? Well, we started the whole fight about racial profile and police brutality and all that. I said, but I also had to deal with the challenge of how do you fight in the time of the first black president where you challenge him without undercutting him at the same time. Now Dr. King, Reverend Jackson, none of them had to figure that out. You want the president to do more, but you don't want to start calling him names and attack him so much till you feed him to the enemy of you and the president. So you got to have enough balance to understand that you can be used in a way that leads to the demise not of the president but of the movement. What you mean, Sharpton? Well, when I was a little boy, they were fighting about whether we were going to have violence, nonviolence, moderation, militants, black power era versus civil rights, anti-war groups, whether we should burn down the country or reform it. That was the argument, my little boy. They got to arguing and fighting so, which is why I try to cool out a lot of this going now, because it ain't nothing new. The result was, everybody romanticizes the 60s. The result was in 68, is Richard Nixon became president. I seen this movie before. They get you fighting each other. And they say, how good. Keep them fighting. In fact, write up about them fighting. Joe Blow is good. Oh, this is the new thing here. If you keep writing about it, they'll keep getting jealous and fighting. And while they fighting, Donald Trump will go to Alabama and put folk in the stadium. While they fighting, we'll deport everybody not from Mexico, but from Trinidad and Jamaica and Barbados. Keep them fighting. I've seen this movie before. Don't be that stupid. Well, I'm so-and-so. I'm Miss grass speech. I'm so-and-so. I'm Mr. Youth. I'm so-and-so. I'm Mr. Hooter. I'm so-and-so. I'm Nash Accident. All of that don't matter. They don't like none of us. Keep your eye on the prize. Let me bring it local for my New York folk up in here. We got the fighting in the 80s. The 8 decades. Wasn't doing enough. Didn't put his fists up. Didn't put our liberation flag up in Gracie Mansion. Went to too many dinners, all of that. And we beat down on things, including me. We beat down on things in public, so the results, you got 20 years of Rudy Giuliani and Michael Bloomberg. Of Bloomberg and Giuliani. I've seen this movie before. So if I tell you to don't go right because there's a dead end there, and you put your foot on the pedal and speed up, talking about I ain't listening to old heads, you can get faster, but you're going to run into that same dead end. You can go slow, or you can speed, but it's a dead end at the end of that block. And you might want to turn, because you ain't proving me wrong by speeding, showing you ain't listening to me, because you're going to run into that dead end. And I'm telling you, what we need to be focused on is how we going to win these changes about special prosecutor, camera and police, and all of the issues that we've been fighting since Gardner's funeral. Look at the tape of my message at Eric Gardner's funeral. We laid out there what we fighting for. It's a year later, that's what we fighting for. That's what we marched tens of thousands in Washington about. And we're going to stay right on that. Now, the second thing that we have priority is that we must continue to put pressure on the Congress on this Iran nuclear agreement. Last Saturday here we had Reverend Daughtry and Reverend James Forbes, Pastor Emeritus of Riverside Church, Reverend David Jefferson, who heads our New Jersey State Chapter of NAM, pastors Metropolitan Baptist, Reverend Bartlett, Stephen Bartlett, and our New Jersey coordinator. I'm on my way to Rocky Mountain, North Carolina to speak for his brother-in-law this afternoon. And all of them stood calling on ministers to, in their pulpits, call on their members to call their senator and congressman to say vote yes on the nuclear agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement. And we laid out why. We're having a national conference call tonight, following up to get preachers to do it again tomorrow. It is important, one, because if you can choose diplomacy over war, that is a human and civil rights issue. That's what Dr. King did about Vietnam. Secondly, a disproportionate amount of people in the armed services that would be at risk at war comes from our community. That's right. That's right. Everybody listening to me on radio or watching us on live stream needs to really encourage all of our ministers and parishioners to call their congressmen and senators to say vote yes on this Iran nuclear agreement. Now, I was glad to see Congressman Jerry Nadler came out this week and said that I'm Jewish and pro-Israel, but I'm for this agreement. Give Congressman Nadler a hand. So I wanted to say this while I'm on radio. A lot of our black and Latino Congress people in New York, Nadler taking this position puts a whole lot of difference on you saying, well, I'm pressured by pro-Israel groups. Nobody was on pressure. Nobody been more pro-Israel than Nadler. This is not about being anti-Israel. This is about being pro-peace and pro-diplomacy. Now, another thing is, a lot of people get caught up in the wrong fights. Remail Hillary's email. Remail Donald Trump's wearing a cap. Then you come to New York, because I stay on the road a little bit. You come to New York and this guy, that lady go run for mayor. They ain't even, we got a presidential election before we get to mayor, but they already, who gonna run? The first thing that we must concentrate on is salvaging and protecting our voting rights. That's the first thing. Before you get to the personalities, deal with the policies. There is now a changing of the voting in over 20 states. 14 of those states will not go into effect till next year, which means we got by them in 12. And in 14 in the midterm, you will feel the impact in 16. We need to be preparing now on how we are going to bring out voters that are now in states that the early voting dates have been put back or canceled, that the Sunday go to the polls have been stopped, and that have strange government vote ID. You so busy looking at the rat race or the horse race, whatever term you want, that you don't understand they changed the game. Civil rights leadership at its best deals with the game, not the players in the game. We're now Trump's a threat. I've been on Trump for 35 years. I know when he tried to be friendly, and I know when he has gone through his other side. Don't forget now, we marched on Trump when he put ads in the paper against the Central Park Five, calling them a wolf pack. Same Donald Trump. He will go either way. When he wanted Tyson and them fight in Atlantic City, he was all cool with us. When they had the Central Park ads, hello? He is a businessman. I know who he is. Somebody, is he a racist? He's a businessman. He's in the real estate business. I'm in the civil rights fight. So you got to be clear. Our business is not about money, it's about rights and justice. So our engagement must be protecting voter rights. You know, one of the reasons, and I go back to Kirsten and them, one of the reasons why it's important to have continuity is if you read the Bible, The Bible all the way through, they have a book coming out called The Good Book. And I wrote a chapter in it about Psalms. One of the things that you learn if you study the Bible and study history is that the Bible is built on God identifying his people and how they interact with others. I want you to watch this now. Reprimanded his people that didn't hearken his voice. I delivered my people from bondage, all the way through the Bible. Now, what that means, Brother Williams, is that everybody is not going to be with you. I don't understand folks read the Bible and then get confused why everybody is not with them. You need to read it again. Ever since there's been a man made by God, it was always those forces that were against the people of God. Always. Sometimes it was kings against it. Sometimes rulers against it. Sometimes it was other tribes against it. But there always was a Goliath for every day. So why do you feel that you weren't going to have folk to challenge you? So I thought about this thing, Janae. I used to avoid all that. But now I've learned to be at peace with it. Because one is going to be there anyhow. But second, you ask yourself, why does God allow all these challenges? And I thought about it. Look at nature. Everything that grows against a force that it must become stronger than. Seeds have to fight through dirt, fight through grain, fight through concrete before it can blossom into being a flower. You don't plant flowers, you plant seeds. And if a seed can't pass the test of the dirt, then it'll never be a flower. If you can't get past the dirt around you, you will never blossom to who you're supposed to be. You trying to avoid the dirt when the dirt is part of the route to your blossoming. God uses conflict to test you to make you stronger. You want to lose weight, you got to quit eating and exercise. You can't just wish your way thinner. You can't just get on the scale and say, wish I take off 20 pounds and it goes boom, abracadabra. You got to go through conflict, cut down on your carbs, feel hungry and not go buy that hamburger and that pizza. Get up and get on that treadmill. Out of the strain and conflict, you will chisel you a new person. Out of your conflicts in life, it will chisel you into a new you. Lord, I'm just sick of all the dissension. Well, learn how to use the dissension to make you better. Learn how to use the dissension to discipline you, to go above the noise and to have a word of truth. Learn how to use all of the conflict to separate you from the mess, so they know the difference between the mess and the messengers. Amen. We need to have a meeting about our differences. All right, let's do that. Meet me on Lincoln 145th on our way to the Justice Department about Eric Garner. We can talk about it, but let's talk about it on the way. That's how you deal with conflict. Let's have a conflict, but in our conflict, let's grow.
Yes.
And don't forget the tribe you come from, or the tribe of believers, or the tribe of those. You know, that when I was reading this week, Joshua, and God never got angry until the children of Israel forgot who they were. Read this real careful. Read it real careful. He never admonished them while they were in bondage. He admonished them when they got out of bondage and forgot who brought them out. So wasn't that now? I didn't get on y'all when y'all was in Egypt and was doing anti-God stuff in your master's house because you were slaves. But I brought you out. I opened up the Red Sea. Brought you across dry land in the middle of the Red Sea. Turn around then, and when you thought it was a trick, because Pharaoh's army had come behind you, I drowned Pharaoh's army. I did all of that to bring you out. And now you are out on your way to the promised land. Read the book, and you are serving lesser gods. I brought you out, and you're thanking somebody else that would have left you where you were. I brought you out. You had made up your mind you would die a slave. But I brought you out. And you give your gratitude to a lesser God. That's why a lot of y'all can't get yourself together. Is that you have been brought through things in life. Been delivered from things that you never thought you'd be delivered from. And when, as soon as you get your back up, soon as you get your situation a little better, you start thanking gods that didn't deliver you. You start running with friends that didn't know you, but we knew you when you wasn't nothing, and you was all right with us. But as soon as you get a little better off, you can't be with us no more. Hello.
Come on, God, come on now.
We hold you up, and you go thank lesser gods. But it's all right, because God will bring you back down. I tell my daughter Ashley that worked with me at the radio show. Dad, did you see this? Dad, did you see that? Then she come back a week later and say, you said it was going to be that way. I didn't figure that out. I like to tell her how wise her dad is, but I didn't figure that out. I learned when I was a little boy, 37th Psalm, fret not thyself. Oh, I know, I read it on social media and in the paper, but fret not thyself, because of evildoers. Neither be thou envious. I don't care how much they talk about it. Neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, because they shall soon. He didn't tell you what date. He said soon. He didn't tell you what date. He said they shall soon be cut down and wither. I don't know when it's going to happen, but they won't last long. But the God I serve. Well, right now, you don't understand. The reason I can't come around that much, the reason I can't identify that much is because I got a new position. I got a new situation. And I can't, be seen in my new thing around y'all. Anywhere, any door that opens up for you, that you can't bring your faith through the door with you, don't go through that door. If you got to leave your faith outside, then you don't need to go in that door. Any door that is open, then you got to leave your faith at the curb. Don't go through that door. Well, you don't understand it. God blessed me with so-and-so, but I got to leave God out. Well, then God wouldn't have opened the door for you that he couldn't go in with you. In some powerful doors, but I brought no justice, no peace with me. I didn't change to go in the door. I changed everything in the room when I got in the door. Because I didn't go in the door looking for me. I went in the door knowing who I was before I got in there. I serve a God that you never thought would put me through the door. But he said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw. Preacher said to me the other day, Remember, I watched your TV show. I see you meet with President Obama, but you ain't changed. Still marching with God and all that. I say, because I understand the reason I'm in meetings at the White House and on TV is because I marched, because I stood up. I'm not no celebrity that learned how to rap or that learned how to play ball. I'm known because I stood for something. And I'm not going to now take that name and do anything but use it for what it became known for, and that's fighting for justice. Two or 3 weeks, premiere night of Empire, hottest show on TV, called and said they want me to do a cameo. I said, if I can play Al Sharpton, we talking about justice yet? I ain't no actor. I'm not no actor. I'm an activist. Know who you are and know what you do. I talked to some young preacher the other day, and he said, have you seen Reverend so-and-so and how he preaches? Have you seen Dr. so-and-so and how he preaches? Have you heard Dr. so-and-so and how he preaches? Have you heard Reverend Dr. so-and-so? I said, how you hear all these preachers? He said, oh, I watch them all on YouTube. I said, so you sit around just watching other folks preaching on YouTube? Yeah, I do. I get everybody's style down, see who's attractive, so I know how it works. He said, you don't do that? I said, no. I preach the same way I preached when I was a little boy in Washington Temple. Because this wasn't about fashioning a marketing style. This was about an anointing that'll help you preach in season and out of season. About an anointing that the wicked can't get in your way. I I told him, I said, tell you what, let me help you out. I said, Moses became a great liberator. First 5 books of the Bible around Moses. But what we run past, Rachel, is how Moses got there.
Come on.
I watched Rachel go through all kind of mess. Later, they tried to run one of my daughters through mess. But how did Moses get there? Moses was born. See, a lot of y'all read too quick through the Bible. Moses was born at a time that Pharaoh, the head of state, had ruled that all newborn Hebrew boys must be killed. His mama was a Hebrew woman and didn't want her son to be killed. She hid him as long as she could. And as he started getting older by the weeks and would cry, his lungs get stronger. She knew somebody sooner or later was going to hear this baby. So she held as long as she could and couldn't hold no more Gwen Carr. She got a little basket, put the baby in the basket, and said, Lord, it's in your hands. Now, the way I used to preach that today is say how God led it to Pharaoh's house, but we missed the part. We missed the baby's side. We think about what Moses' mother was thinking. We think about what Pharaoh's sister thought about when she picked him up. But rewind a minute. Think about the baby. Baby laying in a basket with waves and the sea shaking him. He ain't never had to deal with that before. Seaweeds, sharks, fish, danger all around him. He didn't know he was on his way to Pharaoh's house. I've left the comfort of my mother, and I'm dealing with sharks and fish and seaweeds and all kind of dangers in the river. Yet, I'm going to hold on to this basket. By the time he got to Pharaoh's house, he had survived the dangers of the river. He had negotiated the fear and the panic of if he turned over and drowned. The reason why Moses was strong is not because he was Pharaoh's son, but he was a river baby. And nobody in Pharaoh's house ever been rocked in the rivers of life. Reason why I got where I got. I didn't get it in seminary. I was thrown in the waters that I didn't have anything to do with. Daddy left, family disgraced, heartbroken, name daddied up. I'm a river baby. I didn't arrive at Betty Rock through the front door. I'm a river baby. But the same God that held me through the river, the same God that wouldn't let the waves drown my basket, the same God that held back the seaweeds and the sharks, is the same God that can hold me up now. God got a way of taking river babies and changing history. Think about your journey. Think about the worst thing you've been through. Think about the trouble and the tribulation and the humiliation that rattled you and shook you. And then think about how God brought you through. And then you know, if I've been through that, I can get through whatever's ahead. coming up now. I come too far from where I started from. The same God that wiped tears from your eyes, the same God that healed your broken heart, he's still on the throne. Remember the basket you came in on. Remember the river you came down. God will. God will. God will make a way for his children. He walks with me. He talks with me. He tells me I'm his own. I'm a river baby. I'm a river baby. I'm a river baby. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. We want justice. Got to have justice. We want justice. Everybody's saying. Everybody's saying. Everybody's saying. One more time, Lord. One more time, Lord. One more time, Lord. Hey, I'm opening the doors of the movement. There may be someone here today. You listen to us on the radio, you watched the TV show, but you never joined and became part of National Action Network. We have many committees and divisions that do different things. And you need to be a part of a permanent movement of freedom fighters. If you're here today and never signed up, just come up to me and I'll sign you up myself. Come on. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Yeah. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. One last time, Lord. One last time, Lord. One last time, Lord. Yeah. All right, I'm going to raise our offering. Raise our offering. Moving quickly, I got to fly to Rocky Mountain.